Hello, Internet! This is Kendra E. Arnett here today to talk to you about romance. And not just any romance, but the best sort of romance there is. Fictional romance. Am I right? Of course I am. Anywho, and not just any fictional romances, but fictional romances by indie authors. And not just any indie authors, but the indie authors who I've loved so much that I bought their book and they're sitting in a pile in my lap. So, shall we dive in? Alright, first off, we have Tracking Ruby. This one, I don't think is specifically a romance novel, but it's from the point of view of two people who fall in love by the end of the thing, and they've got a hilarious sparks flying romance. He kind of kidnaps her, and she's not too happy with it, and what he wants is to help to go rescue someone of someone he cares about, but best laid plans of mice and men. We'll get into where he's searching for tomorrow when we talk about mysteries. We will be seeing that one again. Kaboom, kabang. Next up, we have Only a Novel by Amy Dashwood. This author was one of the first that I ever had over at my blog for having fun interview. The first blog tour I ever took part in was for this book, but I didn't like the price of its ebook, so I just went ahead and bought a paperback because it wasn't that much more expensive. I don't know what it is with some authors, but this is a really sweet romance about a girl who thinks she's going to wander into a Jane Austen novel, and she ends up with finding out that life is a lot different, but she still has does find a sweet young man, and hopefully some love, I think. I mean, if I remember right, there's love. Next up, we have A Different Kind of Courage. This is an author I've read a lot of. It's again not primary. This one's primary genre is not romance, but there's a nice sparks flying romance in there, so I'm talking about it today. A Different Kind of Courage, and Sarah Holman, and I'm told there's a sequel coming out soon, and I'm so excited. Yeah, Revolutionary War is awesome. I will be talking about that on Revolutionary War Day, which is Historical Fiction Day, which is Wednesday, so we will be talking about this book again. Kaboom, kabang. Next up, we do have one that is very much a romance. The White Wolf and the Ash Princess by Tammy Lash. She took part in Indie Econ last year, and at the end of it, she's like, "Hey, Kendra, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can I send you a copy of your book, of my book?" And I'm like, sure, I guess. So she sent me a copy of the book, and then I was kind of glad I had it, because when she signed up this year, I had the book on hand, so I finally went through and read it. Last year was kind of crazy, and I didn't get much reading in. But this book was totally not what I expected. I mean, I read Ash Princess and was picturing a medieval fairy tale-ish thing, and no, it's more about the early colonial period. Again, we'll get into this on the thing, but the romance between these two, it's a friends to lovers. He's actually her guardian for reasons, and more of a big brother relationship, and really sweet, and I liked it. Then up, we have Twisted Dreams, which is a sweet little thing by Morgan Haneke. This is the only one of the books I own of hers, but I have read every single book she has, and I've loved most of them. This one was her first romance, and her first fairy tale retelling as well, and her best cover by far and large. And yeah, see, I needed this thing for my shelf. My only regret is that there's nothing on the spine because it's so thin. But it's a short little sweet thing, retelling of Sleeping Beauty, about a Sleeping Beauty who's not sure whether she belongs in the real world in the sci-fi realm or the fairy tale realm, which one's the real realm, because she keeps going back, and both of them seem pretty real. I'm not going to spoil it and tell you which one it is, but her and Willem are really sweet, like saccharine sweet. Like, you need his brother Matt to just mellow things out. So sweet. I loved it. Then I have a series of my own that I wrote. I wrote it, so I know I love it. This one is the old cover. I depleted my supply of the new cover. Water Princess, Fire Prince is a sparks flying, enemies to lovers thing about a princess, a guy and a gal who get stuck in another world and told, hey, you two are gonna get married. They're like, what? No, this ain't happening. And this one, same world, about 1,000 years later by that world's standpoint. Another, just a few weeks later by our standpoint. But another young pair are pulled in. They're actually best friends. So there's a best friends romance in this one, and then a sparks flying enemies romance, and like covering all my bases for favorites. What else do I have to write about now? Anywho, we have After the 12th Night next, which is another that's not primarily a romance, but again, there's a really sweet romance in here between the main character, the young main character, not the older main character, but the younger main character has a really sweet romance with the lead lady. Although her brother tries to wreck things up, that weren't fun. And to finally top it all off, we have Suit and Suitability, which is a retelling of Jane Austen's Sense and Sensibility. And since we all know Jane Austen is the queen of romances, we know this is good, right? Right. Well, no, it's good on its own merit too. Actually, I've never really been that thrilled by Jane Austen's novel. I loved this book. Not only did she really make their characters more crisp, but she added more depth of morals and meaning, and I really like how it translated to the thing. And I'm not hating on Jane Austen, but that was her first novel, and she still had something to learn. So this was the author's third novel, and a lot really awesome. So there we go. All my favorite romances, enough that I own them in a pile. I don't always keep them in my lap. I just felt like keeping them on my lap today. I was just like, hey, why don't I put books in my lap? So I'll be back tomorrow, later today, with a video about writing sweet romances with another author whose book I unfortunately don't own. I kind of want it though, Ivy Rose. So I'll see you guys later. And in the comments, let me know, what is your favorite romance novel, indie author? What's your favorite romance by an indie author? Whether it's specifically a romance novel or not. My actual favorite would be Rachel Rosano. I've not been able to get any of her books. They're a little bit long, and I've not justified the price, but hopefully soon I'll be getting one. Rachel Rosano, because she writes some really great arranged marriages, and kind of my addiction is arranged marriage romances. So there we go, over and out. Let me know your favorite romance by an indie author. Bye-bye.